it's not for project. Pump us, them say to me, pump us. Are you with the for us? Yeah. Try and see what is the failure.
I'm just gonna end this with a testimony of how God builded my faith through the past 3 years when I was in the army. When I was in basic combat training, there's a mental and then there's a physical part of training. And see, the mental part for me wasn't hard. All that yelling and all that other stuff, it wasn't really that was hard for me. It was some of the physical work that was hard for me, because I grew up in a Caribbean household, so like I was always disciplined. Like I didn't have an issue with drill sergeants yelling in my face and stuff like that. But I did struggle a lot with running, because running wasn't something that I did often and I wasn't prepared for, and it took a lot of endurance to get through that part of training. So there's a physical exam at the end of training, and I thought if I was not supposed to pass, I did not pass the ACFT, the physical exam, it would be because of running, because running was really hard for me. But I eventually passed my running time, so it wasn't running. So I thought I was gonna pass because I passed my running time and everything else wasn't really hard for me. But there was one thing that I still started to struggle with out of nowhere, and it was called the ball throw. Basically, you throw a ball behind you, and it has to reach a certain amount of feet behind you, and it all depends on like your height and your weight or whatever. So I had to reach, I think, like a 4.5 at least. But for some reason, it was so hard for me to pass that one small little thing. And they were about to chapter me out. Like they was about to ready to chapter me out because I couldn't pass that one thing. And my battle buddy, or my battle buddies that I was close to, like I started crying because they were saying that they were gonna chapter me out and stuff like that, or recycle me and make me redo it. And I was just praying to God. I was like, God, I know you did not bring me this far just for them to chapter me out. And I put my faith in you and everything. Like I was struggling with running, but I did it and everything. So it was just like I couldn't believe it. And then there was other people from other platoons from my company that they didn't pass, but their drill sergeants weren't being, they didn't have any integrity, so they just let their soldiers pass, even though they didn't really pass, that ball throw, because there was other soldiers struggling with it. So they got away with it. But my drill sergeant, I feel like the drill sergeant that God put in my path was like, he was very like honest and everything. He was very honest and had a lot of integrity. So even though I didn't pass, the other drill sergeants was always telling him, oh, just put the number, even though she didn't pass or whatever. But he wasn't that type of person. And I kept asking God, I'm like, why does everybody else get away with it, but me, I'm still struggling? And I put my faith in you, God, or whatever, and I've been trying my hardest, and I've improved so much. And then finally they had the opportunity to give me another test, and I was like, and then my drill sergeant was like, soldier, do you believe in God? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you must been praying really hard, because we didn't even have another test for you, but there so happened to be another physical exam that you can take so you could get another chance. And I knew that was from God, and I knew that was like confirmation from God that he heard my prayers, and that he was just testing my faith and wanting me to be molded, and he wanted to get all the glory. So finally I passed my physical exam, and I learned a lot from that. I learned patience, endurance, and I learned trusting in God and putting my faith in him, because if I didn't go through that, he wouldn't have gotten the glory for it, and I wouldn't been able to like give it as a testimony to others to build their faith. Or there's anyone else that like wants to join the army and, you know, maybe scared or nervous, don't be nervous. Put your faith in God, because he'll be there with you. And, you know, if that didn't happen, like, he wouldn't have gotten all the glory. Like I said before, when God is making you wait and testing your faith, it's because he wants all the glory, and he wants to test many aspects of your character and build you. And, you know, God still making me wait on him, because there's even bigger things that he wants for me, or he may want for you. So, you know, that process is like never ending, because God always wants to elevate you, and before he does it, he has to mold you in certain ways. To conclude with these two verses that relates to my testimony and everything that I just talked about, Psalms 27 verse 13 to 14, which says, I remain confident of this, I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord, be strong, take heart, and wait for the Lord. So basically that's saying like you will see the goodness of God in whatever you want him to flourish you in, but you have to take heart and wait on him. Isaiah 64 verse 4 says, since ancient times no one has heard nor ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God besides you who acts on behalf of those who wait for him. So basically that's saying no one has, like, anyone that's been in God has never been like let down or doubted by God. Anyone that's been in him and waited on him has always come out with such a great outcome and positive thing. They have flourished in whatever they were meant to do. So that concludes my segment. So take heart, wait on the Lord, and if you're waiting on something, just know he's preparing it for you, and there's something bigger that he has for you. So like, share, subscribe my video, and see y'all next time on my next segment.